Hi, thanks for joining us here at Tea Leaves Programming. We are doing Haskell for Dilettantes. Today we are doing exercise 3 of homework 2, gotta get the numbers right, of Joachim Breitner's Haskell by Sokoban course. I'm doing the variant from the University of Pennsylvania, CIS 194, from the fall of 2016. So we just implemented moving around the maze and making our little dude turn and face the direction which they were going in. Oh, that's interesting. Actually, is this a bug? There might be a bug in what we did in exercise 2 because I said we were going to remember the direction we moved in. But if I try and move to the right, I cannot move to the right. But he still turns. They still turn. I shouldn't gender this triangle. Was that part of the definition? Let's take a look. After the player has tried to move in some direction, it looks that way. So that's actually correct. Let's take a look at exercise 3. Reset. You will write a function resettable interaction of. Almost certainly this has been renamed to resettable activity of. We'll look at the documentation to make sure. Has the same type as interaction of or activity of. Will behave almost the same, but when escape is pressed, this event is not passed on, but rather the state of the program is reset to the given initial state. An idiomatic definition does not require any other top-level definitions, but likely local functions and/or lambda expressions. Let it be like exercise 2, but using resettable instead of the default version. All right, well, let's go ahead and define an exercise 3. Right, and go ahead and use that. And activity of, we're going to have to go look at the documentation. Debug activity of, group activity of, unsafe group activity of. Okay, so resettable activity of is not, in fact, a code world entry point. We're being asked to write it. Okay, well, that helps. But why do we have to write it? Why can't we just have this in our event handler? The reason we can't just have this in our event handler is because no, it should work, right? Because we're handing back we're handing back a state from the event handler. Pressing the escape key is one of the things the event handler could handle. Why can't that just return the initial state? Why do we need a resettable interaction of or resettable activity of at all? If he's asking for it, there must be some reason for it. But I'm tempted to try doing this just the way I just said, without having a top-level definition whatsoever. All right? Like, let's call it handler 3. We'll make it a completely different handler, even though that's kind of overkill. And then can't this just be, no, that one can't, but I can do this, handler 3, key press. I'm assuming it's all caps. We don't care about anything that's been passed in. And we're going to return initial state. Maybe the reason we don't like this is that it's kind of a layering violation with, I don't know though. It seems fine to me. Well, let's see if it works. And then maybe we can try and puzzle out why he wants a separate function. Okay, so we can move around. And then if I hit escape, doesn't work. Did I ESC lowercase? Okay, so that's my mistake. Try that. Oh, every time you don't look at the documentation, that's what happens. No, same thing. Oh, once again, I wasn't actually using my new event handler. That's why it wasn't working. Mistakes are everywhere. Yeah, and so I feel like this resets. I feel like this meets the spirit of exercise 3. Maybe this is going to be the shortest video I've ever made. Why does he want that? Let's look at the sample solution and see if we can understand why is it important that this be a top-level definition. So all it's doing is defining, remember every time we see interaction of, replace it in your mind with activity of, right? State 0, step, handle. He's kind of very explicitly stepping through here. But I'm not sure I get it. I'm not sure that this is better than what we've done here. The only thing I can come up with is this idea that state 0, stuffing state 0 kind of down in the event handler is a code smell. But I feel like it's a top-level function. It's legit to call top-level functions. It's essentially a global variable, which is a code smell. But I don't know. I kind of like this better, and so I'm not gonna do this. And I would love to hear in the comments if you have a justification for why doing it this way is going to be more robust. I'd love to hear it. Please go ahead and leave that comment. Well, I already said that I'm not going to do exercise 4, which is just make a new level so that the TA doesn't get bored. So I'm going to call it here. We have finished homework number 2. So next up, I may take a break from this for a week or so, give myself time to really think about it. Week 3, we're going to have a lecture video, which is going to cover polymorphism. And then, this whole discussion of whole meal interactions is going to be very interesting. And I hope you join us for it. And then we'll look at homework number 3, which is going to be finish the Sokoban game. And maybe when we do our initial state, we will find out why my solution of just do this down in the event handler is a bad one. This has been Programming Like It's 1979. You're watching Haskell for Dilettantes. Thank you so much for coming on this journey with me, and thanks for watching.